Welcome to Distorted Realities. Here are your hosts, J Rock and Frank Walls.
Hi, everyone. Happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful women out there who are parents to children. To my mom, Happy Mother's Day. And to my wife, Happy Mother's Day. My grandparents, Happy Mother's Day. We love you, and thank you for raising us, grooming us, and, giving us life.
What up? How you doing, guys? Ready to be scared and ready for today. We have a big episode with a lot of stuff, and also shout out to my mom, my wife, my sisters, my aunts, everybody that is a mother out there. Hi to everybody, and God bless them all.
So without further ado, my name is J Rock. It's Mr. Frank Walls.
What up?
And what do we do here? We talk about cryptids. We talk about aliens.
Oh yeah.
We talk about paranormal stuff. And then we get a headliner, subject matter, and we discuss it. And in short, we do that because we want to discuss the unknown. And we want to explore our own truths and share it with you and make discussion out of it. I think that's the best way to do it. We're very welcoming. So join the chat. Frank will be monitoring the chat and we will be answering questions while you're watching the show. We have a jam-packed episode today.
Definitely so.
A lot of research. So if you saw on the thumbnail, there's a plane, and the discussion is a very interesting one, and we'll keep it secret until we get there. So yeah, how was your week?
My week was very interesting, doing all the stuff for Mother's Day, doing research here and there, plus working a regular job, 9 to 5, all the stuff,
So you had Behind the Walls.
Yeah, that's
Why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, I have a small segment called Behind the Wall with Frank Walls. So you guys are welcome to see, and what we're going to do pretty much there, we're going to emphasize more on the stuff that we talk here in the show. We just want to, if you have a doubt, you can always let us know in the chat, and we can bond a little bit more about that topic. That's the point of it.
Yes, it's time. It's summertime. Time for you to go and have a barbecue. Party with friends. And who better than to prepare these events
Oh, yeah.
than the wonderful My Balloons Are Poppin'. All right, so what is My Balloons Are Poppin'? It's a small company that caters for events and parties. They do balloon arcs and custom pieces, floral decorations, some minor catering, and essentially what they offer is a great experience. We actually got a little Distorted Realities balloon rendition, and I want to share that with you guys. So give me 1 second.
I was very original.
Check it out. We have our own balloon alien with the DR for Distorted Realities. So yeah, they also do balloons for events. So this is at Liberty High School.
Nice.
For a softball event, and they were pretty much created this balloon arc. In short, My Balloons Are Poppin' is available for those of you who are interested, and you can reach them at https instagram.com/myballoonsarepoppin'. All right, so please check out the Instagram page, check out her work. It's amazing what she can do with her hands, and I'm pretty sure that any party she's involved in, it's going to be phenomenal. All right, so going forward.
That was a nice alien.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
I named him Charlie.
Charlie?
Charlie the alien.
Why Charlie? Why?
Oh, that's a code name.
A code name?
It's a code name.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's top secret stuff.
Okay.
If I tell you, I have to kill you.
I gotcha.
So, fun-filled episode. We have a lot to show. Yes, we are posting more information behind the scenes about Distorted Realities, a little bit about us, and we hope that you like it, that you're enjoying it. Make sure that you like and subscribe, hit the bell notification.
They can follow us on Instagram now, right?
Yeah, they can go to Distorted Reality Stream or Distorted Realities, depending on which one you're at. If you're on TikTok, it's Distorted Realities.
Gotcha.
And if you're at Instagram, it's also Distorted Realities. But just jump on, check it out. And yeah, give us a shout out. Let us know what you think about the episodes. We love constructive criticism. And we try to make the videos better for you.
Exactly.
All right. So with that being said, behind the walls. So we spoke about the fallen angels.
Yes, sir.
You kind of gave a description about the Nephilim, and the fallen angels and how they kind of transcended in the mythos of Greek mythology.
Yeah.
And they were called heroes of renown.
Men of renown, yeah.
Right. So I was thinking about it because I'm like, I love Greek mythology. Right?
It's very interesting.
So in Greek mythology, right, you first had the Titans. And from the Titans, right, Gaia gave birth. She's asexual, so she can reproduce. So she gave birth to Uranus,
Yeah.
right?
Uranus.
No, Uranus.
Uranus.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But
It's the accent. Yeah.
so what ends up happening is that then from there they gave birth to the Titans,
Okay.
right? And then those Titans then copulated with humans, and they gave birth to the Olympians, if I'm correct. And then the Olympians gave, they got with the humans, and then they ended up having
Zeus, right? Somewhere. in there.
Zeus, Poseidon, all of them. They were all, it's the craziest thing. In Greek mythology, they were all flawed. These were gods that were flawed, and Zeus was like the ultimate pimp.
Yeah.
Right. So he seduced everyone. He would like disguise himself as an animal, and he would seduce the women and all that stuff. And
Kind of like the fallen angels, like
yeah.
the-
So
like
there's
the Watchers.
commonalities.
Yeah.
That's the thing. There's commonalities, and it's very interesting to see like the parallels, right?
Parallels. A
Right,
lot of parallels. A lot.
So with that being said, I think it was a great segue. I think there's a lot more that we can touch on with that.
A lot
But
more.
and there's a lot of common ground, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that we can extend that piece and have that discussion moving forward.
I got somebody in the chat says, "Thank you, excited for today." Yippee.
So yeah. So with that being said, we're gonna go to our first section. You want to shoot it out to cryptids?
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go to cryptid, guys. Enjoy.
All right. So we're here, and this is the kind of like the cryptid files, and we got some interesting cryptids that we're going to talk about. One originated from Europe, two from South America, Mexico, and Dominican Republic.
I think those are the scariest one.
Right, they are. And because we're honoring Mother's Day, they are two female cryptids.
Female cryptid,
right?
yeah.
So, but we're going to start with the weirdest one, the one that's usually confused in videos with the skinwalker.
The skinwalkers.
And
yeah.
it's actually not a skinwalker. It is called the pale walker. So let's go to the slide. By the way, the slides were brought to you by Distorted Realities. We use AI tools to create what we feel is a perfect rendition of the actual cryptid. Okay, so there you go. You have a picture of the pale walker, right? So it originated in Europe, but it kind of transcended over to the U.S.
They also sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry. I apologize, but I heard they also call them the crawler.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
So
true.
they do have other monikers and nicknames depending on where you're at.
Gotcha.
So they're described as a pale, slender humanoid creature, typically small in stature, but other locations have described them as really tall and beyond 7 feet.
Beyond.
Right. The crazy part is that this one also parallels with one of your favorite cryptids, the chupacabra. Yeah. So it parallels with the chupacabra, right? And
In a way.
yeah, because what they usually are found, they're found in wooded areas, eating livestock, eating animals, and they're very, in the times that they've been caught on video, documented, or if they've been reported, they're aggressive towards humans. So, yeah, I think that this one is a pretty creepy one. 1 second here. Let me just mute that. Okay, so yeah, aggressive in nature. What's your take on this
Well, this is what I found. It says that the crawler inhabits small enclosed space like caves. They're primarily nocturnal, but have some reported sightings during the day as well. They seem to consume animals of small or medium sizes, from mice, fawns to they typically don't attack humans. Yeah. So they don't attack humans apparently.
No, so
Still scary though.
my research describes something completely different.
Yeah?
Yeah, and
What you
that
got?
was that they were aggressive towards human species. So in this case, there was a video of a guy who was in the woods, and basically he's roaming the woods in the middle of the night, and there's a guy, pale, naked, crouching, eating an animal, turns around and begins to chase the guy. That is an old video. Is it true or not? We don't know, right? So the idea is that if those are the depictions in the reports, then we have to state it as is. You decide if you believe in it.
If you see it, if you're in the woods and you see something like that, I recommend you do not approach him, okay?
Yeah. Yes. I agree.
You never know.
So yeah, this one is a one and done, right? It's an interesting creature. It's very, in its appearance, it is very
Creepy.
creepy, right? So Pale Walker does kind
Especially
of fit.
with,
And at first I thought it was like a species of vampire or something, right? That's what I've kind of like
Could
led
be.
to. But it almost seems alien-like more than it does, vampiric. That was at least my 2 cents on the visuals, right? There are tons of sites that you can find information on the Pale Walker. There's a lot of videos on it as well on TikTok, YouTube, you name it. Any social media platform that has anything on cryptids, you'll find something on it.
Very famous.
It's very famous. Again, it is confused with the Skinwalker because of its features. It is assumed that it can transform into something else.
But the Skinwalker, they're more like dark in color, right? The
Well, that depends on where you're at.
Right.
In Dominican Republic, their version of the Skinwalker is called a Baka. And the features and the descriptions are nowhere the same between the U.S. version of what we know Native American lore versus the South American lore, right? Or the Caribbeans. So there's there are, again, commonalities, but how we view them and how they're skewed depends on the location. And the actual intentions are different as well. So it's something to point out. But yeah, Pale Walker, I like this. There's a lot of things that go unexplored in the woods that haven't been discovered. You have the Amazon jungle. I mean, this thing is vast.
That's huge.
I say sure. Like, why not?
I got here from them says most sightings are at night in open areas, particularly forests or the sides of roads, or during the day in enclosed space like sewer systems. On the rare occasion that they do attack people, the wounds are never fatal and they won't give chase. Considering their normal prey, humans are likely to be to the one attacker. So, I mean, depends. Just don't go near them.
So yeah, so I like this one. And now for your viewing pleasure, we're gonna show you our little vignette, right, of the Pale Walker, completely generated with AI, and we hope you enjoy it.
Let's watch.
The Pale Walker, originally founded in Europe, this creature seems to have made its way across the United States. Described as a pale humanoid, slender in figure and varying in size, this creature roams the woods at night, feasting on wild animals. Sightings have been reported, and it appears this creature is aggressive towards humans. Be careful when roaming the woods at night, as the Pale Walker may have you in its sights.
All right. I thought that was cool.
That was very creepy.
Yeah. Anyone in the chat? See if they want to speak on it.
We're good.
Okay, we're good. So, awesome. So, the next one on the list is Dominican Republic. The Ciguapa.
La Ciguapa.
Yeah, yeah. So, originated, of course, in the Dominican Republic. It's beautiful in appearance. However, its feet are inverted.
Like the
Mapinguari.
Mapinguari from
Right.
Brazil.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
the description or the lore behind it is that she roams the countryside. She's looking for a male to seduce and copulate with, right? And in hopes of becoming pregnant.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. So the crazy part is that she does it so that once she's pregnant, she offs the husband, unalives him,
Wow.
and then has the child and eats it.
Kind of like the praying mantis.
And yeah, right. So it's kind of strange how there's those commonalities and when it comes to this particular cryptid and the Mapinguari with the feet. However, its trajectory and what it does and how it does it. This is a highly spoken
Cryptid.
cryptid in DR, right? In DR meaning Dominican Republic. They always talk about it when you're roaming out there. Make sure you look at the feet.
There's no cuckoo over there. They got the Siguapa.
So yeah, so
This is what I got so far for the Siguapa. It says the Siguapa is a mythical creature from Dominican folklore that is often described as a beautifully terrifying woman with long dark hair, backward facing feet, and brown or dark blue skin. She is said to live in the mountains and forests of the Dominican Republic, particularly in caves or under the canopies of the forest, and only comes out at night. The Siguapa is said to be shy and moody and sometimes make a bird-like noise while walking. She is also said to invade kitchens in villages to steal the food and is sometimes considered an omen of death. Wow.
could you imagine that? Caw-caw! She shows up in your window. Caw-caw!
In the kitchen
Window.
window.
Goes to your kitchen and takes all your bread.
Imagine
Runs
that.
right off. Yeah, I think that in this case, I like my story better.
Yeah.
It sounds more deviant, so I'm going with that.
I think the one they're describing here was pregnant. That's why she was trying to steal the food.
to nourish the child.
That was
Okay,
probably what it
okay.
was. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think that this particular iteration suits the bill. So what makes it creepy is that it's like a siren, right?
Mm-hmm.
It uses its voice to seduce you, right? You know, and the guy can fall head over heels, no pun intended, because she doesn't have heels; her feet are inverted.
Inverted. Yeah.
But yeah, so
She can do the moonwalk.
forwards.
Well,
So cool lore. It's highly spoken about. It's believable. There are people with deformities and people with disorders that can lead to a person's behavior being that. Cannibalism is a real thing. Yeah. Hell yeah.
listen, I will not be surprised with this. All the scripted that we've been showing in this channel. I mean, I'm not surprised. Anything can happen.
I agree. And more importantly, I think that when you go to DR, you should stay away from the countryside.
And the
just
forest.
or don't roam alone, especially if you're a handsome young bachelor. Because you will be the praying mantis feast. You know, and without further ado, we are going to show you the video of the Siguapa.
The Siguapa, originally founded in the countryside of the Dominican Republic, described as a beautiful woman with inverted feet. This creature roams the countryside luring and seducing men. Legend has it, once she is pregnant, she unalives the male and eats her newborn offspring. Be sure to check the feet of women when roaming the countryside of the Dominican Republic. or you may be its next victim.
All right.
I was scary.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
I mean, the AI is getting better.
Way better.
Still working on some adjustments on the deformities, but it kind of works with the video sometimes.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd. But
You make it more spooky.
yeah, so for the next one, second of two, La Mala Hora, or in English, The Witching Hour.
The witching hour.
Yeah, so this one is from Mexico, Chiapas, Mexico. Rumor has it that there's this beautiful woman who's floating on the road. Her feet never touch the floor. Right? Now, there's two variants, right? So apparently, if she's dressed in white, it's very kind and gentle. But if it's dressed in black, you're in for a shitload of problems.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's two variants, and she's kind of like the harbinger of death, right? She,
Apparently, like an omen.
right. However, there are reported accidents because she gets in the cars with individuals, and accidents do happen, and there have been reported deaths in Mexico. And again, this is out there. It's to me, it's hearsay unless there's some kind of documented stuff.
I heard a
but-
story on the online that there was a lady that was gonna go to a friend's house, and she was driving by, and she saw like a black rogue, or like like a big handkerchief, like a big piece of fabric, and it started like taking life, became really big, and she just kept driving. She kind of stopped because she thought it was like something that she run over, but then she just kept driving, and when she looked the rear mirror, became like the trees, like real big, and then and then when she decided to go back home, the police came to her house and told her that her husband had died, and so they're kind of like a bad omen, you know what I mean? So I don't know, very weird story.
Yeah, so it's very weird. I think that this one in particular is, one of those ghost stories that have a tendency to ghost story that has a tendency to be hyperinflated, right? So in my mind, it looks like it's probably a story about a person who died in the road, and
Gotcha.
then that person haunts the road, but it's not like what people make it out to be. I lean more towards paranormal than cryptid.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to be, something that I'm going to pin it on a cryptid.
We have something like that where I'm from in Puerto Rico. It's called La Bruja del Caño. Kind of like something like that. Yeah. She will get inside your car and everything.
We apologize for any noise you heard. It's Mother's Day, so we're receiving roses for the missus. But the show must go on. And with that being said, Mala Hora, The Witching Hour. What are my thoughts? It's a ghost. I don't think it's a cryptid.
Yeah.
It
I think it's
makes
a
more
ghost.
sense. It makes for a scarier tale. Because you hear a lot about this, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I was in the road one time, and there was a woman standing there, and she got in the car. I gave her a ride, and when I dropped her off, she disappeared. That's the moniker that goes behind that. And this is no different, at least to me.
Yeah.
So-
It's kind of like La Llorona. It looks like the Llorona a little bit, or no? La Llorona
No,
is different.
Llorona's different because this has to do with husband kills the child, kills the wife, or leaves the wife, and the wife commits suicide.
Yeah,
It's a
something
different
like that.
kind of story altogether. And there's a lot of reporting sightings on the Whaler, right? So there's something different going on there. But again, we have to do the research, compare, and see if there's some ties. I'm not swayed yet on it being a cryptid or a
Gotcha.
ghost. I just think this feels more like a ghost story.
A ghost, yeah.
And what makes it unique is that there's variants. White dress,
Black dress.
you know, something good in white, something black is bad. You know,
It's weird.
it's weird to me. So I'm gonna say no.
No, no
I'm
cryptid.
gonna say ghost.
Ghost.
Yeah. So let's do the video.
Let's watch the AI.
Let's watch AI in action. And let's go forward to the next one.
La Mala Hora, also known as the Witching Hour, originally founded in the roads of Chiapas, Mexico. She is described as a beautiful woman, at times dressed in white and other times dressed in black. When dressed in white, it appears she has a gentler side. When dressed in black, she is aggressive. She has a tendency to attract male drivers and lead them to their impending doom. What no one noticed is that her feet never touch the ground and they are inverted. Be careful when roaming the streets of Chiapas during the witching hour, or you may become her next victim.
All right. We hit home run. That's two of them.
I got some comments here in the chat.
Sure.
Yvette says, love it, creating the piece for you guys. I love the show. Thank you, Yvette, for creating that.
Yes, thank you.
And also we got Corali says, how does she seduce men? Are they a trance or is like a spell?
So in the sea, right? There's lores about mermaids and sirens that they use their voice to attract. You can have pheromones, right? Chemical reaction to these things, and they're probably highly toxic at that level. But they have mechanisms to attract people, right? It's almost like similar to hypnosis, perhaps.
And I think also could be, because they're women, sometimes men are overprotected, they see a woman, they say, oh, what are you doing in the middle of the night? Let me see if she needs help, maybe that's why.
We fall for it all the time.
Yeah, man.
So, with that being said, let's move on to the last one of the cryptids and my favorite so far. This one, the research was worth it. I loved it. I love the fact that I was able to envision what I wanted about this cryptid, right?
Nice.
So let me just speak on it real quick. The Owlman, right? Cornwall, Europe. That's where it's originally founded. This one is unique in which it's reported to be seen a lot in churches and in churches and in barns and wooded areas. But this one has a unique twist. It causes madness, right? So if you're too close to it and you stare at it, you start going insane. But more importantly, it has a similar trait to the Mothman.
The Mothman.
Right? The Mothman, right, is kind of like a predictor of catastrophic events to come. This is a harbinger of catastrophe. So I really loved it. I love the visualization, right? A humanoid species with feathers and owl-like features. And basically, this is what it does. It's very simplistic, very comparable to the Mothman because it's seen in Europe and it's also seen in the US. It's viable. There's a lot of reported sightings. There's also a hoax that was reported, that this was a hoax. But nobody's ever confronted.
Yeah, because the guy that reported it, he was kind of like into a lot of stuff, a lot of dilemma about, he was kind of like a trickster in a way.
Yeah. So it's possible. But
I heard also a similar story with Native Americans.
Yes.
About that. And
so the owl is very symbolic in Native American lore. Right, so is the bear, the wolf, the coyote, right? But the owl is very symbolic in which it is a being that can see into things, right? It kind of has the foreshadowing effect. It can see into the future. So, and more importantly, it can predict outcomes, right? It's almost like a sixth sense. So yeah, I kind of believe that as well. I wish I knew what Native American tribe.
It was the Seminoles.
The Seminoles.
Yeah, the Seminoles.
The Seminoles from Florida.
According to what I heard, the Seminoles used to be from another town more towards Georgia, and they were kind of pushed down. So they had that story, and apparently they have a different name that if you pronounce it, you can turn into the old man. And what they it's very weird. So what they do is like when you're turning, you throw up all your organs and stuff, and that's how you become.
We need to find out what that is.
Yeah,
What's the code?
I'm trying to find the word.
What's the
here.
word? You know? So notice how there's every time we pick these cryptids, there's some kind of trend going
Different.
on. So the owlman spits out its guts.
Yes,
then you
I-
have this ciguapa that uses bird-like sounds.
crazy.
So and invades your kitchen practically.
Eat your bread.
Eats your bread, right? But I love this. There is something creepy about it, but not devastatingly
Yeah.
creepy, but creepy enough to say, if I was to run into this kind of creature, how would I feel about it? Yeah, I would run, but I don't think it would be like watching Pennywise the Clown in It, right? but yeah, so Owlman, I'm digging it.
I'm trying to find the name from the native. They was supposedly if you say that name, you turn into it. So I don't know. I don't want to mention it, but let's see. I'm trying.
Instead of turning into an owl, you're gonna turn into a chicken. But yeah, we got this cool video.
Sometimes they refer to the as a Cornish.
Yeah, Cornish. You know that there's a hen called the Cornish hen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you eat that in the supermarket. You can buy it. You can buy it and cook it and eat it. So, Cornish hen. But no, this is Cornish is because it's from Cornwall, England.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, video time.
Let's go.
You like it?
Yeah,
Owlman is believable.
it's believable.
It's believable.
It could be the
Two thumbs up.
chupacabra from Europe.
Your obsession.
Another version.
All right, guys. So we're gonna go in now. Owlman video and let's go.
The Owlman, originally sighted in Cornwall, England, described as a humanoid person with owl-like features. Sightings have been reported in churches, barns, and the woods throughout England. Similar to the Mothman, it appears that this creature incites madness to those who see it, and have been the harbinger of death and bad events. Hope and pray that you don't encounter this creature, as it can drive you mad, or worse, leave bad news behind.
That concludes our cryptid files.
Cryptid files. They were very
Yeah.
interesting too.
Yeah, very interesting piece today. We got 4 good ones. We hope you enjoyed the videos for the cryptids. We put in a lot of work, a lot of time into doing this using AI. It's not just you speak to it and that's it. There's some editing involved, some music involved, and all that other stuff. But we do it for you guys, for your entertainment, and in hopes that you can give us constructive criticism and feedback of what more could you want to see. Yeah, it's great. I love the whole cryptid thing. It's working for me.
I mean, I think that one could be real. The old man.
It's possible.
It's possible. I think.
But I'm just curious as to how the Europeans handle these kind of scares, because over here it's a fad thing, right? We go,
Yeah.
oh no, Bigfoot and all this stuff, and I mean, look, you got a shirt that says "Believe in yourself" because we believe in Bigfoot. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's part of our society,
Yeah.
that we like to explore these stories and myths, and you know what? Let's segue to a brief discussion before we go on to the next.
Yeah.
I want you guys to think about when you were a child, sitting with your friends, watching a horror movie, and out of nowhere someone says, yo, I got this cool story, right? And in that story, they tell you about some particular entity that does something, and it never leaves your mind, right? It always lingers with you. And stories like this always retain some semblance of not of fear, but of like, wow,
Yeah.
like, is it real? That curiosity, even though it's weird, even though it's out there, that curiosity kind of always sticks inside your head. And I think it's a beautiful piece to discuss because It creates moments, right? Even though we're discussing something that's odd, you won't forget about the time you had that discussion when your friends were you were 12 and 13, right?
Exactly.
so just something to think about outside of the realm of cryptids, but how sometimes you think about these things in a different context. It creates experiences, you know. I remember with my friends, we would go to cemeteries in the middle of the night and ghost hunt, you know, specifically Woodlawn Cemetery, New York City, in the Bronx. Yeah, we would go there, and we were freaking out. But that experience of just going there and being around friends and telling the tale, and sometimes even exaggerating it, right? Like, oh, I saw something. No, you didn't. But that's the truth. So just keep that in mind, that these things also have a way to not just create something fearful, but create beautiful moments. All right. So with that being said, I think it's time. I think they're sending us a message.
It's a code message from outer space.
They said they want to see us present their particular motifs. We have 3 alien species that spoke to us and, you know, gave us some details. And we're here to share it with you guys so you get to know them a little better.
We got very interesting topics about it, and I hope you guys like it, okay?
Yeah. So let's get to it. In Search of Aliens. Yes. I love In Search of Aliens.
Do you think they're real?
I believe they're... I would like to believe that we're not the only ones in this world. But if they are, they're both equally scary. Because if they have the intelligence and the capacity that we don't have, they can invade us.
Oh, yeah.
Right? However, this information we collect has a purpose behind it. Right? The story is that there's 2 species of aliens divided into groups. The evil one is called the race Mitra. And they have a specific group of races of aliens that side with them versus the ones who protect Earth. And according to the lore and the legend, is that we were an experimental species that was created to see how we can survive and thrive and build our own intelligence. And we were protected by the creator race. Right?
So far, I think we're...
well, that depends on how you look at it. You got to flip the coin. But with that being said, there's some confusion and some parallels, because some of us could say, well, you know what, as a human race, we still haven't mastered peace and equality, and we like to fight amongst each other and do all this stuff.
Yeah.
So why would aliens want to keep endorsing us, right? Mm-hmm. If that's the case. However, you know, you have another species that says, you're a slave race, you're inferior to us, and we made you so that you can serve your purpose.
Why we always like the lesser race, right?
Right. It's always mind-boggling to me. I mean, but think about it. And I've said this before. If you take the past 130 to 150 years out of the whole recorded lifetime of a human race, right? What you're going to find is that all of our achievement was within that gap.
Yeah.
And that's very odd. We literally transcended in 150 years. You know, prior to that, we were still, you know, cavemans. This is what we were doing. We make fire. And then take 2 sticks and make fire.
Yeah.
But somebody must have taught you that, right?
Well.
So, whether it's God, because it could be God that could teach humans, right? According to biblical belief and ideologies. Or it could be aliens. Or it can be aliens disguised as gods, right? So it's plausible.
That happens to the Indians when they saw the Spaniards for the first time. They thought they were gods, you know.
Right.
And they were not.
So with that being said, we're going to talk about our first species. And that is the Ramey. The Ramey. So they are from the Capella constellation Auriga, right? That's millions and millions and millions of light years away. There's no kite, spaceship, glider, plane. We haven't mastered teleportation yet, so there's no device that can take us there. However, they're a peaceful species to the humans. They're responsible for the creation of the Mayan civilization and taught them math and time.
Oh, that makes sense.
I'm sorry, astronomy and time, which part of that includes mathematics.
Mathematics.
So the Mayan civilization, let's just segue to the Mayan civilization. They were brilliant.
They were
I was-
extremely brilliant.
So I want to tell you, I was very fortunate. I went to Chichen Itza and to Tulum, and I went to the temple. It's called Teotihuacan.
Teotihuacan.
And the architecture and design of these things, it was like a master class in mathematics. And I say mathematics, it's super important. Acoustics plays an important role. They knew how to make sound travel and bounce against the wall so that the message can be sent a whole football field away so that somebody can receive the
There
message.
was no need of speaker phones or
No,
nothing.
none
like
of that. None of that. Even like the temples themselves, you could clap 3 times, and the clapping sound would go to the top of the temple, and you would hear Kukulkan's name come out of the temple.
Wow.
Because the sound would reverberate and bounce back.
That's very interesting.
So these were master mathematicians, and then it's funny because everything was so symmetrical. However, the bricks on one side of the wall were huge, and the other side they were small.
Probably to create that echo.
And even the positioning mattered, right? So if this race is responsible for that, I want them to teach me math. You know what I mean? Like, that's just it. And they knew the concept of time and the correlation between time and the astronomical plot points in the charts.
Gotcha.
Right? So, peaceful species, I love this. You always hear, bad stuff about little green men with blasters all the time. And I like the fact that there's a species out there that represents our survival, represents our willing,
Trying to help us.
Yeah, so
Enlighten us.
yeah. So I think it's cool. Any thoughts?
I mean, I think that's very interesting the way those pyramids are built and made. That's and kind of is like a technology in a way. It's like they know so much that there's no need for technology. It's like they use sound wave and like the energy that is in the earth to do
Right.
stuff. That's what is interesting.
It is. It is indeed. So with that being said, Remain, if you're out there and you're seeing us, thank you for protecting us and teaching us. And hopefully you can visit us out here and impart some more knowledge. But in your honor, we're going to play a video.
Haramei, from Capella in the constellation Auriga, a peaceful race known to have created the Mayan civilization. They are scientists that were known to teach ancient civilization about astronomy and time. It seems that they continue to educate the human species during the pivotal eras. They were last seen on Earth in Bora Bora in 2001. Let us be thankful that this species is providing us with the knowledge needed to move ahead.
All right. Ramey. Shout out to Ramey. But the next species,
I saw them there with the government. What was that about?
well, rumor has it that they do have ties with political figures.
Okay.
There's tons of stories behind this specific race, like their involvement, right? It's about the preservation of the human species, not just teaching them stuff, right? But with that being said, this next species is an enigma, right? So first of all, Alguralix is the name of the species. They're from the constellation Cetus, right? They have 8 different genders that can reproduce
Wow.
with any specific gender variation,
It's kind of
right? They can live up to 350 years old. Their purpose is unknown. Nobody knows the reason why these guys are here, but they're an observant species. The issue is you're an observant for what, right? Are you affiliated with the race Matra? Are you siding with the human collective? And, I would like to think that they are, because there's never been any reported abductions or anything based on the research. But for me, the key piece that I really threw me off is that even though they appear reptilian, right? They're not. They don't share any relations with the reptilian species, but they have the features.
They got the outside, but not the inside genetics or so.
Genetically, they're not reptilian.
Okay.
They just appear reptilian.
Look like.
Yeah. So this one was a pretty cool.
I have here that says that their height is around 2 meters, and they can live up to 350 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow! Imagine living that long.
If I was living 350 years, what would I do? I don't know. And here's the problem. Being a transitioner, I was able to see the end of the industrial era and seeing technology thrive, right?
Yeah.
So I was able to see the payphone and other technologies that today's kids can't see, right? Imagine another 250 to another 320 years.
How much is gonna change?
How much change would I see?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I don't know if I would want that.
I remember those space phones, man. Those space phones, they will take your money. Definitely.
Yeah. But it proves our point. It proves our point all the time. The first variable is anything that has ever been created must first be imagined.
Imagine. Yeah.
You have to think about it.
Yeah, imagine.
Which goes to my second point. Science fiction 90% of the time becomes science fact. The things that we've seen on TV when we were kids growing up are now things that are considered household commodities that you can use.
You know who said that? Captain Kirk,
Yeah.
the actor.
Yeah.
He was asked, and he kind of said it like,
William Shatner.
yeah.
Yeah,
He
he's
kind
the
of
man.
said it. He was
Shout
like,
out to Shatner.
he was like, sci-fi. We do it first, then it comes real. you
Yeah.
know?
So it's so revealing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's so revealing how the world works. But again, I'm gonna go and do you one further, right? Who's to say that when you imagine things that are fantasy in nature, they don't become reality, or they were remnants of a reality that once existed? And you think about it because it's linked into your DNA.
Yeah.
You know deep down there's something there.
I want a flying car. That's what I want.
350 years. I'll grew Alex for you. So I like the species. I just don't like that we don't know what its intent is and what it wants to do. I think it's a fair thing to say. But again, no harm, no foul, right?
Yeah, man.
So, Al grew Alex, here's your video montage.
Algor Alex from the constellation Cetus by Deneb Kaitos. Although they have a reptilian appearance, they do not have any relationship with them. This species has 8 genders and can reproduce. They can live for up to 350 years. Not much is known about their purpose, but they have been observing the human species in planet Earth. The last reported sighting was in Lima, Peru in 2004. Let us hope they are on the right side of history and not supporting the Mitra.
All right. Al grew Alex.
Very interesting. Very nice.
So for the last species, right? It's the stuff that's made out of alien nightmares, right? This is like Independence Day movie stuff.
Yeah.
This particular race is called the Mazarek.
That's
They're from a really weird name
Yeah.
constellation. It's called Camelopardalis.
Pardalis.
Yeah.
From the 1300, am I?
Yeah.
To early 1900s or calendar, they were not allowed to leave their planet by the alien race. They are very violent and predatory race. They're known to be allies of the race Mitra. They grow up to 5 feet. Oh, they're not that tall.
No.
And last seen on Earth in August 2001. Wow.
So my thought is, if other species had to stop them from coming to Earth between 1300 and 1900, what happened that they were released? And this then leads me to question, is it of our own doing Did we do this? If this is the case, did we do this? Were we the cause of them saying, you know what? These guys want to keep doing what they're doing. Feed them to the wolves, that kind of stuff. But yeah, this race in particular is considered very violent, very predatory. They're very knowledgeable, very technologically savvy, and they eat their prey.
Oh, but do you think they want to invade us, or?
I don't know. Maybe there are races that are there to invade and take over and gather resources, but then there's also description of races that are just there because of the thrill.
Gotcha.
The races that are there because of their superiority. Like, oh, we're a superior race, therefore you bow down to us.
I think they enjoy watching us like a reality show.
Right.
I think that's what they do.
So it's possible. It's possible. But this particular one is creepy because they don't look creepy. Outside of not having a mouth or a nose, based on some of the descriptions that I found.
Yeah.
And then that leads me to if they're a cannibalistic alien race, how do they eat, right?
Maybe
It's just food for thought. But this is their appearance. This is what they describe them as. And yeah, this is just one of those things. It looks cute, alien gray, and then you go there and your arm is missing.
maybe they put you in a blender and drink you like a frappe, like.
It's possible. It's possible. But with that being said, the Mazarek is a very interesting species. I'm really curious as to why the species between 1300 and 1900 was not allowed to enter Earth.
Earth.
And if that's the case, how were they suppressed?
I wonder, have you ever noticed, we're here in Florida, I think everybody knows that already. Every day they're launching rockets. I would say maybe in a week, two rockets go to space in every week. We don't know yet. We don't know what's going on. Supposedly it's resupplying the space station or whatever, but that's kind of weird because that's all the time. All the time you see a rocket going up. And as long as I know, we're not colonizing nowhere, or building something in the moon, or I don't know. It's weird.
It's food for thought.
Yeah.
So the Mazarek, if you see one, run. All right. And with that being said, the last video montage of this alien species that we hope to ever see, and hope that this is all a figment of our imagination.
The Mazarek, constellation Camelopardalis. This race was not allowed on Earth between 1300 and 1900, as other races did not allow it. This was due to their violent and aggressive behavior. They are considered to be predatory towards human and other races. They were last seen on Earth in 2001. Hope that they do not invade our planet.
All right, folks, that concludes our
That was a
In
nice
Search of Aliens.
nice UFO over there. The flying saucer.
Isn't that something?
Very, very neat. Like that.
Yeah, I told you what I wanted and it delivered.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it for aliens. I think the next batch is going to be pretty interesting.
Definitely.
Some of their features are very weird and not common with the standard alien grays and green little guys with two fingers, right? So next week is going to be a good one. Ghost.
The ghost segment, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Get scared, and let's hit it.
So a quick rundown of what we do. We surf the interwebs, hyperspace, and all that jazz, and we gather information and we review it. In this case, paranormal. Now understand, paranormal means a lot of things. For us, it's things that are abnormal or not normal in nature. It doesn't always result in a ghost sighting or a poltergeist. It can be about a cryptid. It can be about anything that typically is not seen or discovered or just super rare. We review it, we talk about it, and we say yay or nay. And then we turn into the viewers and see what they think. You have anyone on the chat by any chance? Just want to make sure.
Said, Coralie says, I didn't like that one. Think of mom eating the child. About that was the Ciguapa.
Oh, the Ciguapa, yeah. It's unfortunate, but it's one of the theories. So yeah, paranormal. You know, it's important that we put it into proper context and explain it to you guys. We'll watch the video. You're gonna watch the video at home. Tell us what you think. You know, so for the first one we're gonna watch, it's not a ghost.
No?
It's a real footage. This is real footage, all right? And you know, there used to be a species of wolf called a dire wolf.
Dire wolf.
And dire wolf were super
Big.
huge. Now, this is an extinct species, right? However, a man has a dog, and that dog is one of the larger breed dogs, and this thing towers over it. And basically, dog is chasing that particular beast of whatever it is. But it reminded me of what we spoke about last episode's Beast of Bray
Beast of Bray
Road.
Road.
So I just figured I'd share this and get your thoughts. Let's play that again. So this video is by JORR1T. Yeah, so it's humongous. My thought on this is, again, we spoke about this prior. You know, there are a lot of species. I mean, wow, that is humongous.
Yeah, it's
Let me see if I can spot it. Look at that. In comparison to the dog.
imagine seeing that at night.
Look at that thing.
That's crazy.
You know, that's bigger than Rambo.
Oh yeah, and Rambo's scary.
And Rambo's a skinwalker. So then you know. But this thing is ginormous. So for those of you out there who like hunting and going in the woods, you know, be careful. This is the kind of stuff you can run into. So, and this is real footage. This is not Photoshop or any kind of expert effects. This has been proven to be the real deal.
Just be careful, guys. There's too much creatures around over there. In the
So
woods.
the next video kind of falls right in line with this. And we should just look at it.
This video was
This
found in
is
a
an
box of
old
junk
video.
somebody had picked up at a garage sale. It looks like it's just a bunch
Just
of
watch it
footage
one more
from some normal everyday family back in the 70s. However, it gets pretty weird here at this point. This guy's out hiking in the woods, filming. It looks like it's a Super 8 camera. His dog starts spooking out and catches a scent, and he turns the camera to look over, trying to figure out what the dog sees. And then he ends up seeing that. Look at that thing. It's walking on four legs. It's clearly not a bear. It's way too big to be a dog. And this is the scary part. In the very last scene, what do you see? Nothing but teeth.
All right. So what you just saw was a documented old video of the Michigan Dogman.
That's the Beast of Bray Road.
No, Michigan Dogman.
That's a different story.
It's a different cryptid. However, this is the Michigan version of the Beast of Bray Road. I mean, is it the same? No, but this was also authenticated. There are rumors that this is a hoax video. There are other rumors that this is like the real deal. But
Could be the same beast that
again,
immigrated.
it's hard to find real cryptid videos, right? I'm gonna lean on this and say, you know what? It looks pretty real to me. Some of the technology that you saw there is pretty old.
Yeah.
You know, for you to go on set and find all this stuff and record it, you know, I kind of buy into it. I want to watch it one more time.
What if the beast immigrated from one state to another? That can happen too.
This video was found
not
in a box of
migrated,
junk. Somebody
Yeah.
had picked
Yeah,
up at
they
a
can
garage
migrate.
sale. It looks like it's just a
you
bunch
see,
of
this is
footage
old
from
stuff.
some normal everyday family back in the 70s. However, it gets pretty weird here at this point. This guy's out hiking.
This is really old stuff. Like, you could tell this is old footage. You see how he's just standing there? A lot of people thought it was a bear. But bears don't move like that.
No,
So how the hind legs kind of
they don't have a tail. It has like a tail.
and then right there at the very end, you see the mouth?
Wow.
So interesting. I like it. I like it. I buy into it.
Could be, yeah.
So let's try video 3.
I think that one's real.
The next video is a ghost haunting, and I think this is one in the cemetery. All right. But before we do that, I just want to give credit where credit is due. This particular TikTok video that we saw is from at Satan Hates Me 42. All right. So thank you so much. Video number 3 at MQ_Studio 17.
आपकी आत्मा है हमारे सामने ओ भाई ये कोई नॉर्मल चीज नहीं है ये आप लोग
So that was brief. That was a video from at MQ_Studio 17 on TikTok. It's a video of a ghost in a cemetery near some kind of hilly space. It's always something daunting about a childlike figure in the woods, right? That's what it appears like.
That's creepy. They're always wearing white, like a white dress, right?
Yeah. See, that's the stuff that makes people run or run and never look back. Yeah. I buy it.
It looks creepy. It looks very ghostly, right?
Right. But the next one is the best one for me because it's Mother's Day, right? And we talked about 2 cryptids, so I figured let's find one that fits the bill. And you kind of mentioned it earlier, right?
La Llorona.
La Llorona. So this is apparently, or I'm putting quotation marks on it, but allegedly of the real deal. This one is from
Those La Llorona has translation.
JJPD Productions. So let's just watch it again. So JJPD Producciones is his handle. How do you feel about that video?
That's definitely from Mexico.
How do you feel about that video?
It looks scary. Imagine you walking at night. Let's say you go to the store to buy, I don't know, milk, and on your way back you encounter something like that.
I feel like it's CGI. However, I give him an A for effort.
Right?
If it's real, shit. But I like it. I like the idea that it's tying to a theme, right? Which is the whaler, and it's in Mexico, and it's true to the culture, and
There's a lot of creepy things going on over there in Mexico.
So yeah, so share your thoughts, folks. Whether you're live or you're on the recording, share your thoughts and let us know what you think. And just remember that when you're watching the show, if you like what you see, like and subscribe. If you see the bell icon in your YouTube site, click on the notifications and you'll get notified for upcoming events that
Yeah.
we're going to post up.
Hit it. That way you can stay tuned with all the stuff that we bring to the channel.
So now we're going to my favorite segment. So let me just look at the camera. All right, guys. So when we're young, we're taught a lot of things, right? ABCs, 1, 2, 3. You know, Christopher Columbus sailed the 7 seas and discovered America. And we're taught science, right? Mm-hmm. And it's beautiful. Science is beautiful, right? Because it allowed us to unequivocally prove things that at some point were unprovable, right? But in the midst of that, something happened, right?
Exactly.
Science has transformed into something different, a whole different animal, because you're no longer allowed to challenge that hypothesis,
That theory.
that theory, right? And I'm just stating that, and I'm being very clear. This is not about you believing one thing or the other, but the subject matter of the day is about the man who went beyond Antarctica. Right? Again, the man who went beyond Antarctica. Now, to put it into proper context, we've prepared a video for you. And we hope that you can remove any biases and just keep an open mind, an open heart, watch the video, and then we'll talk about this in great detail. But one of my favorite subjects, and it's the flat earth theory. So with that being said, let's look at it. And welcome to the creepy segment. So folks, without further ado, we prepared a 2-minute video for your enjoyment.
Enjoy, guys.
It's no secret that flat earthers are constantly memed about. Christopher Columbus thought the earth was shaped like a pear. Copernicus eventually became the father of heliocentrism, and the world since adopted the globe theory. But what if I told you that someone flew past Antarctica and made a bold statement on live television many years ago? He goes by the name of Admiral Richard Byrd. Richard E. Byrd was an admiral who explored the world and was the first to fly past Antarctica. So here's the proof.
Ago, our guest tonight found out whether there was any land north of the North American continent. He made that first discovery flight, and I must say that Admiral Byrd, our guest tonight, is not only our greatest living explorer, but he's been an inspiration to countless Americans. Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole, on the other side of the South Pole, from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
That's a tremendous
So
challenge.
there's a lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the world.
Admiral, do you hope to see that?
I do.
If that is true, then this map can easily become this map. And the globe theory goes under questioning. So let's talk about it. We apologize for that. We had a little malfunction with the audio, so let's just rewind and go
Yeah.
back. All right, so first things first, Admiral Richard Byrd. He is the inspiration behind a lot of adventurers, right?
Like Indiana Jones
Yeah,
and
he
all
can
that.
kick the crap out of Indiana Jones. He can do that 7 days a week, twice on Sundays, and that was in the words of Mark Sargent, who is a flat earther. With that being said, he's highly decorated. The show that you was watching in the video snip is called The Long Island Chronoscope, and essentially, inside of that video, he's explaining that there is land beyond
The ice wall?
the ice wall, right?
Yeah.
So let me give you some context. Like, it's funny how the world works, right? You watch a show like Game of Thrones, and basically you have all these political leaders that represented their areas, their segments, and they're all fighting for the number one spot. But then there's this race that is beyond the ice wall, and they're called the White Walkers.
The
And
White
they're about to
Walkers.
invade, our land.
Exactly.
So you kind of get like little nuances, right? And then you have
You remember,
the Maze Runner.
movies give you always a little bit of the truth
Right.
out there, you know.
So then you have the Maze Runner, where they're in an enclosed system, but once they leave that system, they find another enclosed system.
Exactly.
So that led me to the idea of posting those two map pictures. Now, to give you proper context, the gentleman's name is Claudio Nocelli. He is known as Nos Confunden, and he wrote these two books. One of them is called Terra Infinita, right? It talks about the 178 lands that exist outside of our world, right? So we're in an enclosed system. Now, it comes with a map. This map has a whole bunch of different systems, right? But he also tells a story about a person who came from the unknown territory into our territory, and it's kind of like telling the story of these other lands. So that map image you saw, credits to Nos Confunde, and he has his own place at Nos Confunde, his own site, and you can purchase the books, you can purchase the map, high quality map, by the way, and you can zoom in and look at all the details. However, to just go back into the Richard Byrd.
What can you tell us about the Operation High Jump?
So they were supposed to go to Antarctica, and the goal was to check there for resources. And
Gotcha.
and this was during the time where the Nazi Party and the whole war was happening. And basically, there was rumors that the Nazi Party was doing some business there.
They were creating the bell.
The Glocken, that's what it's called, the Glocken. And it's basically they had a series of stuff that they were creating, but this bell allowed them to time travel. And I'm putting air quotes because I don't know if it's true or not. And they also even had a weapon called the Wunderwaffe, the wonder weapon, right? So they were very creative. But the funny part is that if you look at historically, the creators of their missiles and rockets became our engineers. Werner von Braun.
Werner Braun, the creator of NASA, was one of the primary German scientific.
Can you look up what he said when he died? It's important that so we can give proper context. But and this has to do with everything that was created, in terms of warfare items and like missiles and things like that. It's Werner V.
Okay, gotcha.
But to continue and not segue into it, Richard E. Byrd is highly decorated. He's an adventurer. He's explaining his experience exploring Antarctica, and part of that was Operation High Jump. But to see what's beyond that, right? That there's another continent that has not been explored, that's not in our globe map, leads me to question that a guy so highly decorated, why would he hide that? Like, why would he lie about that, right?
That's very
So
interesting.
then it created other ideas, right? And that's when I ran into this book, right? The Land of Mars and Terra Infinita. And I said, well, what if there are other enclosed systems, right? Again, this is just my thoughts. It's not factual or not. I'm not stating that. However, it creates curiosity. It creates wonder, right? Because we're kind of stuck right now in a stage in society where this is everything. There's nothing else. And the idea that there's something more to see, something more to explore. Can you imagine going to a continent where everything you could ever imagine, right? Where everything you could ever imagine, dinosaurs or dragons or anything you ever thought of, is there. You just don't see it because you're in a different system. That makes more sense than to say you just made it up out of nowhere, right? So, and it plays into the imagination, you know. There's a lot of mythos, a lot of mythologies, and when you look at these maps, right, that Nos Confunden provided, it shows the known lands that we know, the second ice wall, but then it just expands, right? And each location has its own firmament, its own design, you know. So I find that truly interesting. I wanted to share that with you guys. I want to know your thoughts. It makes for a great argument. And again, we can get into the scientific details, right? You found it?
Yeah, I found it. This is what he wrote on his tomb.
Who's he? Werner von
Werner
Braun.
von Braun, yeah. It says, it was Psalm 19:1. This is what the psalm says. It says, "The heaven declared the glory of God, and the firmament sweeten his hard work." This verse is written by David, the shepherd king, who spent a lot of time outside of belief that the sky taught him worship God. The verse asserts that all of creation, including the sun, star, and planets, display God's glory and the work of his hands. So that's very interesting, you know. He kind of giving you a heads up there.
So, for me, let me just switch scenes here and get away from this creepy intro. But for me, Admiral Byrd left a lot behind. He also wrote a couple of books. And some of the books explains his experiences as he was describing it, but in more detail.
Yeah.
He also kind of brought about the hollow earth theory. And you know how they show those pictures of Antarctica online where they show like the hole, and people say that when you go in there, you're in a different realm, right? Or a different place.
I think in China, they just discovered like a cave, and inside was like a whole system of there was huge trees inside the cave. It was like another earth inside of the earth in that cave.
Right, like an inner earth.
Yeah, it had the own microclimates and everything.
So it just makes for an interesting story. And again, it's one of those things where sometimes even the science that we know today kind of leans towards this idea. For example, you fly on what's called an airplane. The name airplane simply means an object in the air that flies on a plane. That's why you take the etymology of the two words is kind of like put it together. That's what you're doing. When you look at the sea and you see that line going across, they call it the sea level, right?
Exactly.
Because you're looking at where the sea is, and it's always straight. There's no curvature, right?
Water always find his level.
So that's a property of water, right? It always finds its level. And then you have other things, you know. I never seen anyone fly a plane and go around the world and record it and show it to us like it's a globe, right?
I have asked pilots. They have told me that the earth is flat.
So it creates
That's all they see, flat.
It creates for a great rebuttal, you know. And one of the biggest rebuttals is you never seen anyone in space with a camera do a 360 shot
Never.
and show you everything in all its glory. And it kind of like ties into what Mark Sargent was said. And just so you know, Mark Sargent, he's a he created this series called Flat Earth Truths. I saw them. I thought they were brilliant. But he made a segment where he's talking about the fourth wall. You learn that in making movies. Like right now, there's the camera's pointing at us, but you can't see what's beyond us. That's the fourth wall, right? There's somebody managing this stuff and handling it, and we're just sitting here.
Shout out to our editor, chief of staff, and all those people that work really hard for this a program to happen. Okay, thank you.
And thank you for making it a work in progress. But yeah, at the end of the day, I love this stuff, and I think that not that you should believe it, but you should be receptive to studying it and understanding it, because, you know, based on my experiences. You got anyone in the chat? Excuse me.
No, we're good.
Okay, so yeah, so based on my experiences and being a person who's been through education system and you know, educated, you can't just go about what you do in opening a book and claim it as truth. You have to discover your own truths. It's the only truth that matters at the end of the day. And this again makes for a compelling story. And I'm not saying to do it, or I'm just saying it's something to give thought.
Very interesting. Remember, you guys being pre-programmed since you start going to school. They just want to put that program in you, like you have to get out of school, work, this and that, and there's more out there. You have to seek the truth. You have to find the truth. It's not gonna be revealed to you if you don't look for it.
And when we mean by truths, we're not talking about the curious or the enigmatic. When we say discover your truth, your way of life, your way of living,
Exactly.
your understanding of the world, because our eyes are different and we perceive things differently. And I think that's the best way to explain
Exactly.
it. But with that being said, I think Richard Byrd is the man.
He is indeed.
He is the GOAT of exploration.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. And this just made for a great topic and something that I think people later on are going to want to see in more detail. And I'm pretty sure they're going to want to see the maps and have a better understanding of the maps. And by the way, we talk maps, it's cartography. So this particular set of maps are going to be different. But shout out to Nos Confunden with his books. So I think they're great. I believe his map is amazing to look at. It kind of opened up my mind to just explore a little bit more and see what's out there, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's an Antarctica treaty, right?
Right.
They don't let people go out there like.
So it's even more important than that. So the treaty is said that no one can lay claim and ownership to the land. No one can live on the land.
Okay.
Right. However, you have researchers doing stuff there from different parts of the world and military personnel. And from what I understand, it's a no-fly zone. It's a no-go zone. You can get killed if you're out there. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. You can get unalived if you go there, and pretty much at their discretion.
Also, one of the weird things is that I think every power country, has a base there, like a little base or research center.
Right.
That's very, very interesting, because what are they hiding, right? What are they? All of them are there, like Russia, the U.S., everybody's there.
It's funny, right? Like,
China.
You're looking at today's. Here's the problem. You're looking at today's political and economic situation across the globe, and there's a lot of arguments between parties, right? Yet you got this one place where it's like that doesn't matter. In here, you have to work together, and there's no other way. It kind of throws you off. It makes you think. But
Even in the space station too, they have a
yeah.
space station, Quote, space station.
So that's pretty much my thoughts on it. But kudos to Richard Byrd and his exploration, and for making my week a fun one in reading and researching his bio, because this guy is the real deal.
It is.
All right, so with that being said, let's go to group scene. So, folks, this is it. We've come to the end of the segment, and we've completed everything we set out to do, and I think it was a great show overall. With that being said, we do have some minor hiccups here and there, and we try to improve it every week, and for that we apologize. Any, additional noise is due to Mother's Day. There's a lot of movement going on. So, again, happy Mother's Day to all of you that are mothers. We appreciate you. We thank you endlessly for giving us our lives, right? And for nurturing us and taking good care of us. And with that being said,
Thank you to my mom, Tita. Thank you to my wife, Carmen, and all the mothers out there. Thank you for do what you guys do. That's the best thing ever, to be a mom. I mean, it's something really awesome that nature let women have that experience. Yeah, I mean,
right.
And shout out to everybody.
Yes.
Hope you guys subscribe and hit like. We depend on you guys. We're trying to make this better and better every day for your enjoyment.
So, with that being said, I just want to say thank you for watching. Make sure if you didn't see the live, you watch the recording. Give us your feedback and thoughts. And with that being said, we're going to sign off until next week, Sunday.